When you think about the world's best pilots, what comes to mind? Probably those gleaming cockpits of massive jumbo jets, right? Well, what if I told you that some of the most skilled aviators on the planet truly earn their wings somewhere else entirely? We're talking about the dead of night, punching through some seriously challenging weather, in a corner of the aviation world most people never even see. Today, we're pulling back that curtain and looking at the incredibly demanding life of feeder cargo pilots.
And this quote, man, it just hits the nail on the head. It's an essential training ground. We're not just talking about hauling boxes here. No way. This is about a journey, a real quest for total mastery over an aircraft. Every single flight is a lesson, a test. All right, so let's dive right in. We're going to get into the nitty-gritty of the feeder air cargo sector. And you got to understand, this is a super vital, high-pressure world that's basically one of the most effective, real-world training grounds a pilot could ever ask for.
So, what is feeder cargo, anyway? Well, think of it like the capillaries of global shipping. The tiny vessels that connect everything to the main arteries. These pilots are flying smaller planes, linking up smaller towns and remote spots to the huge logistics hubs. And here's the kicker. This work never stops. It's a 24/7 operation, which means flying at night. And yeah, very often in the kind of nasty weather that has other pilots saying, nope, we're staying on the ground. Okay, so to do this kind of tough, demanding work, you can't just use any old plane. You need a special kind of tool. And in this world, the absolute undisputed workhorse is the Cessna Caravan. This thing was literally built for the grind. And just look at the sheer capability packed into this thing. We're talking almost 3,700 pounds of maximum payload. I mean, think about that for a second. That is a ton of freight for a single-engine plane, and that's exactly why it is so perfect for this job. And this really shows you what the Caravan is all about. It's designed for one thing and one thing only, getting cargo in and out fast. You've got this huge cargo door on the side, you can get a specialized belly pod to cram even more stuff in there, and the whole cabin is set up to handle all sorts of weird, mixed freight. On top of all that, it's nimble. It can maneuver into tight spots on the ramp that bigger planes couldn't dream of. Which brings us to the daily routine, the grind itself. Now, I want you to completely forget about the image of a 747 being loaded with those huge automated containers. Just push that out of your mind. The reality here is a fast-paced, get-your-hands-dirty process that takes real physical effort and a ton of precision. Yeah, the reality of the job is exactly that. It's manual, it's high tempo, and it is demanding. The loading process isn't just something that happens before the flight, it's a core part of the challenge. This is a universe away from that image of a pilot in a crisp white uniform. This is blue-collar aviation, and it is absolutely at its finest. So just picture this for a second. The pilot, or maybe a small ramp crew, is physically wrestling packages into this tight cabin. Then they're strapping everything down with these heavy-duty ratchet straps, because believe me, the last thing you want is your load shifting in midair. That's a disaster waiting to happen. And then the second that's done, they have to jump into the cockpit and flip a switch in their brain. 1 minute they're a manual laborer, the next they have to be a precision aviator, instantly calculating those super critical weight and balance figures. So you might be asking, why? Why would anyone choose this grind? Well, it's because this is where the magic really happens. Every single one of these challenges, the all-nighters, the terrible weather, the physical labor, it's all systematically forging these incredible skills that are going to last an entire career. So it all comes down to this trade-off, right? On one side of the coin, you've got the grind, the night shifts, battling storms, keeping a schedule that would make most people's heads spin. But on the other side, that's where you find the gain. We're talking about razor-sharp technical skills, professional growth that's just off the charts, and a resume packed with experience that makes you a huge asset to anyone in the aviation industry. When it comes down to it, you really have to see this job for what it is. It's so much more than just a paycheck. It's one of the most intense, hands-on, practical training assignments a pilot could ever hope for. I mean, every single shift is a masterclass in making tough decisions, in pure stick and rudder aircraft handling, and in just sheer resilience. Okay, so as we start to bring this home, let's really focus on the big takeaway here. Why does this kind of experience matter so much in a pilot's career? Why is this particular crucible so darn important? It really boils down to this simple but super powerful phrase from a pilot who's actually out there doing it. Hard work, great experience. That's it.
There are no shortcuts. It's just hard, honest work that pays off with a kind of experience, a depth of knowledge that you just can't get in a simulator. You can't learn it in a classroom. You have to live it.
And that's the bottom line. The world of light feeder cargo, it's truly transformative. It takes all those daily, relentless challenges, and it uses them like raw materials to forge the very foundation of real, honest-to-goodness aviation mastery.
And that kind of leaves us with one final thought, doesn't it? This whole idea of forging expertise through a trial by fire, that's not just an aviation thing. So it makes you wonder, what other tough, demanding jobs out there are the secret, unsung training grounds for the world's top experts? What are the other crucibles? Something to think about.